If you want to learn how to do a graduation live stream with 2 PTZ cameras and 1 remote wirelessly, then watch this video.
Going into the Learning Commons is Night Owl by Christopher Denise. Next up.
Hey, Gary Cruz with AmazeStudios.com here, and this is the night before my gig tomorrow. It's a part of a graduation. Tomorrow's going to be a recording, but I'll live stream it just to test the live stream, and the Friday event will be a live stream. So I've got a 3-camera setup. We'll start off with the first camera that's going to be manned. And you can see here that I've got an iPad for this camera operator that I'll have the multi-view, that I have camera 1, 2, and 3. I'll show preview and program, and I'll show you that in a bit. And I'm using a Sony PXW Z90, and it's outputting in 4K. This entire rig is powered by an FX Lion Nano 3. And I tested that to last over about 4 hours to power this whole rig. So I've got a splitter here, and that's going to that will power the power cage that powers this iPad as a multi-view monitor for the operator. And I've got another going into this power rig that goes into that Atomos Ninja. And I've got another one here that goes into this USB that powers the camera. It's actually charging. I've got a battery in there. That battery by itself should last about 4 hours, but just in case, I've got range anxiety when it comes to battery power. And then I've got this link here that they can pan and zoom at the same time with a smooth head. Now, it's really critical to have a nice rig here so that it's all self-contained versus having it hang off the legs, because they're going to be able to move this without having this be unstable. All right, next up is this is going to be mirrored. We're going to have 2 Canon CRN 500 also outputting in 4K. You can see that it's in as 4K and out as HD. I was trying to match the colors, and this is going to be controlled remotely over Ethernet. I'm recording this locally just as a backup in 4K, and this is also going to be on some pretty sturdy legs. We've got the Sackler Flowtech 75s with an active 6 head, and then I've got this rigged up so that it's also powered by an FX Lion. I'm going to have a FX Lion 3. They're all charging right now, so I've got FX Lion 2 in testing mode. And I've got a small rig battery plate here that has the DTAP going over to this power rig for this Atomos Ninja, and I think that's the only thing that's powered it. Now, this is PoE. You can see that this is currently powered by just this Ethernet cable, and this HDMI out is going into the HDMI in of this Atomos, and I've got a fiber optic cable going to a 100-foot reel. And you can see that's mirrored here. Let's go back here, and then, and then we'll go to the back of the ATEM. So we've got 2 reels, 100-foot reels for this. Now, the reason why I'm doing fiber optic over HDMI, because I did multiple latency tests and I couldn't match it with the Teradek Spark 4K, because that's in real time, and there was a 4-frame delay with the NDI HX that was coming through, and I just wasn't happy with that, because when I record it, it's going to be a mess. So I just decided to go all HDMI with the Teradek 4K Spark because that's all in real time. There's no delay in the Teradek Spark 4K. So we got the receiver here for the Teradek Spark. And this is the transmitter that's transmitting the multi-view over to the iPad wirelessly. And this has been excellent. It's an Axoon Cine 2S. Now here's the back of my ATEM rig. I'm gonna have to rework this because I'm not happy with Ubiquity setup here. I've got a router and I've got a switch here, but it only has 4 PoE. And sometimes I need more than that. So I'm gonna go with a 16 port PoE. I've got this HDMI, this 50-foot optical HDMI as backup for the 4K in case the battery or anything happens. Always think about backups. So I'm gonna have a hardwired backup just in case. Now, if we go over to the ATEM, this is the ATEM Extreme ISO. I'll be recording. So if I click on record here, it can record over to this SSD. You can see that it's recording. It can cover 181 hours. Oh, interesting. All right. And here's the multi-view that I've got. I also have this hooked up in case I can record up to 25 SD in real time. This is going to be my record in ProRes. And this is going to be recording in H.264 or H.265. I didn't see what the setting was. And this is my playback, which I won't be using for tomorrow. This is just a eye candy. It just shows me the audio frequencies coming in through the microphones. Now, here's something that's new. So this is a Skaarhoj PTZ Pro. And what I've done here is pretty awesome. So before I was just using this as a plain old PTZ controller. And what Skaarhoj's videos haven't really demonstrated are the benefits of this controller over, let's say, the Canon, right? The reason why I went with this is because maybe I'm going to have multiple units. So you can see here I've got Cam 1, Cam 2. That's my operator. We've got the Apple TV, HyperDeck 2, cut, and audio. And that all corresponds with the names that I've got here on my labels. So if I change this to, let's say, Cam X and save that, that's going to be reflected in real time here. I'm going to make a separate video on how I do that. I don't think it's ever been clear. I had to watch multiple Skaarhoj videos to figure this out, how to do this with this particular setup with the Canon cameras, the ATEM, and being able to show the names dynamically. And not only that, check this out. So let's say I click on Cam 1. You'll see Cam 1 selected there. If I click on Cam 2, it clicks on preview. And then if I cut it, it changes the colors accordingly. But on top of that, look at the tally lights on top. That's before I'm using external tally lights like the one that's right here. So let's say if I go to Cam 3, right? You see the preview, and I'll cut to that. I've got a tally. That's an external tally. Before I would put the external tallies there and have to power that via USB as well. But that just saves one less connection there. So I'm going to make a separate video on how I did this. It's pretty cumbersome. And the benefit over this, over let's say a Stream Deck, is that I can plug this in and don't need a computer for that, which is awesome. So watch out for a video of that. Hit like and subscribe on my video. I may do a separate behind the scenes on site. This controller has been awesome. You can see I can control this with the PTZ. And if I click the top one, it'll go home. Go right to the home, and I can set presets as well, just like in any other PTZ controller. But the biggest benefit of the Skaarhoj is that I can also do multiple commands here. So I even set the ATEM commands here for cut and auto, and this cruise control is pretty cool too. And then if I wanted to switch over to the HyperDeck, which I don't have currently on, or to the Apple TV, now let's see if I can get the button in there at the same time. Let's zoom out here. There we go. So if we click on cut, and it's all real time, just as if I was clicking cut here. And you can see the changing on this. So I could have this all stuffed in my rack and use just this to control 2 cameras, the ATEM, and then I have my operator on camera 3, and I'll view all that on the multi-view.
8 hours later.
Hey, Gary Cruz of the MayStudios.com here. I'm at a school for a closing ceremony, And I've got this all set up with the ATEM Studio. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's switch the camera around. In the center of all this is the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. We've got 3 cameras, 2 PTZ and 1 that's manually operated. But the main audio from the mixer is coming through here. There is some static coming through. So I've got backup tracks that will come in on a DJI that's coming on camera 2 and a Rode Wireless Go that is on mic 2 that is set up near the musicians. I'm going to be recording in ProRes on this recorder, but also recording as a backup here via the ATEM on this SSD drive. I've got the multi-view here, and the multi-view is local, but also have a remote multi-view going through the Sony i2S. You'll see that in a moment. And my wireless tally is controlled on this PC. That tells my camera 3 operator Shale if he's live or not. You'll see that in a bit. And then the second star of the show is the Skaarhoj controller. Before I was using this for just PTZ, but now you'll see that it corresponds with the ATEM. So this is reading the ATEM menu, and I can also cut between these. So you can see if I cut between camera 1 and... What the heck happened to camera 1? What the heck? Oh, okay, I was pointing at a tent. Okay, there we go. So camera 1, so I can cut here. And then you can see that I can also control, let's cut it properly. And then I can control this, but I also have presets here. So that will go to the podium. This will be a wide shot, and this will be the other podium. And the same with camera 2. For example, if I want to point at the musicians, I'll press number 6 and it's over there, and it'll go camera 1, it'll go to the podium. So that's all set up. All right, so the next thing, so we've got cut audio, and the tally also is corresponding to the cameras. And I've got eCammLive here that will be streaming that. This thing's starting in about 9 minutes, but it doesn't look like there's anybody here, so it might be starting at 10:30. All right, what else? I got time code here that's going into this, so I'm doing the backup recording. All the time code is being synced up with the Atomos Ninja, so we'll show you that in a bit. And we've got this Teradek Spark 4K, which is connected to camera 3, and camera 3 is right over here. Camera 3 is a Sony PXW Z90. Here's the transmitter, which is the Spark. You can see that it's sending video. This battery is powering the whole thing. It should last about 4 hours to power all the devices from the iPad, which is used as the monitor. We got the Atomos Ninja, which is recording this in 4K. And we also have the tally light, which is right here, that will be transmitted. That will indicate if he's live or not, and with preview. Okay. And so then the next thing is camera 1 and 2. So these are mirrored. And over here, I've got 2 Canon CRN 500s. Got one over there and one over here. And they both have the Atomos Ninja that will be recording a local backup. And that's being powered by an FX Lion Nano 2. That should last the whole time. We've got HDMI going in here, and we got fiber optic going into the ATEM. So both fiber optics. And the reason why I'm doing that over NDI is because of the delay. Because the Spark 4K is in real time, and I was having trouble syncing that, so I decided to just go ahead and use HDMI over fiber optics. And then I've got the DJI mic here that is acting as a backup, and I've got the backup taped onto these mics up here, because there's static coming in from these house mics for some reason. So you can see we've got that taped here, and then we've got a lav connected there, right? And then same setup here. And then I've got the Rode Wireless Go for the musicians. So we've got a microphone right over here and another microphone right over here. And that's being transmitted back over there, again, as a backup track. We're getting really close to going live. Just wanted to show the setup of a 3-camera setup, 2 remote controls, and 1 manned camera. And this is a live stream for a graduation setup. If you like this type of content, definitely hit like and subscribe on the way out. Thanks for watching.
class of 2022. Class, please be seated. Good morning, everyone, parents and guardians, family, friends. I welcome you to the graduation of the class of 2022. And now I would like to ask all of us, parents, guardians, students, and guests, to thank the Mark Day School faculty and staff for all their work in shaping the minds and hearts and lives of these wonderful graduates. And finally, it is not easy to stage a graduation.
The confidence which I have now in facing unexpected situations will stay with me for the rest of my life, and for that I am truly grateful.
Mark Day School proudly graduates your Electrum.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
First row, please be seated.
Okay. 1, 2, ready, go.
When I tell them there's no problem, only solutions. Well, they shake their heads and they look at me as if I've lost my mind.
Have you ever been late? Most of you would probably answer yes. I know I did. As for me, one time in 5th grade, I showed up so late to class, my teacher, Miss Mejia, thought I was out sick. Point is, I'm not the best with time. When I was in 4th grade, I started thinking about what the true nature of time really was. We were always worried about it, whether it be time to get up, time to go to work or school, or time to eat, time to sleep.
I see a set of stairs. What could there be up there? I won't just stand and stare. And now I see with my own 2 eyes. I know that I'll be fine if it's like this outside. The chains I tied my heart down, they're gone so long. Now I'm fine.
I see myself playing in a band, performing on stage for hundreds of people, running track, and now graduating.
It could be anything. Pretty self-explanatory. So my friend and I usually pick the same 2 characters every single time. He was usually Batman from whichever movie or comic that he chose, which he always explained to me in great detail. And I was always the unkillable Deadpool from the comics who could, for some reason, turn invisible. And it was awesome. There were explosions, non-stop action, falling off the monkey bars and getting the wind knocked out of me, and it was one of the coolest things ever. This was one of my favorite games, and we played it for more than a year. Eventually, he started choosing the superhero made up of Crystal Man, and he could travel to different dimensions and could never lose, which got really annoying, and eventually we started hanging out with other friends and stopped playing. During this game, I changed my character many times, but throughout this game, we were both finding